Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you to the 27th series of The Joy of Painting. If this is your first time with us, allow me to extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your paints and some big old unorthodox brushes, and I'll show you how to do some fantastic little landscapes that you can do. So I tell you what, today let's start out and have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint this little painting with us. While they're doing that, let me show you what I've got done up here. Today, I've taken an 18 by 24 double prime pre-stretched canvas, and I've just covered the entire canvas with black gesso. And black gesso is just an acrylic paint that makes the canvas black. I've allowed that to dry completely. On top of that, taken a little piece of contact paper here, any sticky back paper, cut an oval, stuck it on there. Then on the inside here, after we have the contact paper on, I've taken a little bit of liquid clear, covered the entire inside. Then we've taken alizarin crimson, just plain old alizarin crimson, covered the entire canvas. And on the corner over here, I put a little bit of phthalo blue, just so it's sort of a lavender color over here. I know it sounds complicated, but believe it or not, it is extremely simple. Black gesso, liquid clear, alizarin crimson, a little phthalo blue in the corner, and just blend it out. And with that, let me show you how much fun we can have. Let's start today with a least little bit of Indian yellow. I just want a very small amount, just a small amount. And I'll go right up in here and get a little bit of white on there. So we have a little Indian yellow and a little bit of titanium white on the little 2-inch brush. Let's go right up in here. Now, let's decide where our light area will be. And right in here, let's start making little X's, little crisscross strokes, something like that. And we'll just begin letting that blend outward and upward. I want this to be the lightest area in my sky. So with that, all we have to do is start making little X's, a little more paint on the brush, and we just continue to blend. Isn't that fantastic? I love these black canvases because you put the transparent color on there, they still look black, but when you start painting, you add a little white or yellow or something in there, and they come alive. Notice that I'm always taking the pure color back to the lightest area and working outward. That way we assure that the lightest color is right in there, and that's where we want it. All right. Look at all those beautiful colors that they happen automatically. This is a very, very easy style of painting. Anybody can do this. I get letters every day from people all over the country that say, I never believed I could paint, but I've tried what you're showing on television, and it works for me. It works. All right. Now I want to make that a little brighter yet. So I'm going to take some more of the titanium white and a little bit now of cadmium yellow. It's very bright yellow, very strong yellow, just a little. And I'll go right up in here and just above there, add a little bit of that. There. Just still making the little X's or the crisscross strokes. Something about like that, and let it blend upward. Once again, always start in the lightest area and work outward, because you're going to pick up this transparent color that's on the canvas, and automatically it'll get darker and darker as you work away from that center area. Something about like so. There. We'll take the little blender brush and come back and smooth all that out in a second. In the meantime, I'm going to grab another brush. I have several of them going, so I don't have to spend all my time just washing brushes. Take a little white, and let's get crazy. Shoot, let's get a little bit of this bright red. That's a gorgeous color, but it's very strong. Be careful with it. Just tap a little into the bristles. That's all we're doing, just tapping. And maybe up here in our world, maybe, yep, there's just some happy little things that happen up here in the sky. Just little things like this, and we'll dance a few little colors in here. In your world, you put any color or any shape that you want. Painting is a very individual thing. Everybody will see nature through different eyes, and that's the beauty of it. You can paint any world that you want here. Any world that you want. Maybe there's a little doer comes out here. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. You decide. Take a little blue, a little crimson, just mix them on the brush here and make sort of a little lavender color, but to the reddish side. Now the blue is many, many times stronger than the crimson, so proportionately you need much, much more crimson than you do blue. Then I'm just going to begin laying in some little colors under here and wherever we want them. Just have fun with this. Let it happen. Let it happen. We don't do any drawings or tracings. We really learn to create here. We let our imagination take us to worlds we never knew existed. And in those worlds, we find peace and we find happiness. Good things happen here. A little blender brush. It's a very soft brush, very soft. Make a nice makeup brush even. But with that, because the paint we use here is very firm and very dry, very thick paint, you can take this little blender and go right over it, just like that. Isn't that something? That easy. There, we can just work on this a little. And the more you blend this, the more it just goes right into those background colors. And gorgeous things happen automatically. Automatically. Put a little white paint on there. Maybe we'll brighten that a little right in there. Want that to stand out. Something about like that. All right. Okay. Now then, it's time to have some fun back here. Let's get a little fan brush. Take a fan brush. I'm gonna mix up. We'll take some alizarin crimson, a little bit of the phthalo blue. Maybe even put a little black in there, like that. We get a little titanium white. I'm looking for sort of a that color, that color right there. Sort of a gray to the blue side. Okay, let me wipe the knife off. We just wipe the knife on a little paper towel. Take the fan brush, and we'll load both sides full of color just by going back and forth. All right, now then up in here, maybe in our world back in here, live some little evergreen trees. And sometimes you can make gorgeous little tree indications just taking a little fan brush and pushing it upward. Just push it upward. We'll make all kinds of little trees. I'm going to add at least a little touch of white there so it stands out a little better. So for television, it shows up. There. That shows up a little better. But in your world, you make them any degree of darkness or lightness that you want. There we go. Wherever. And as you know, if you've painted with me before, we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. And all that means is that very soon you learn to work with anything that happens on this piece of canvas. Literally anything that happens. Because sometimes things that you think are big mistakes and you're really worried about, when the painting's finished, they end up being the highlight of the entire painting. There. And each painting will teach you something. Learn from it. As long as you learn from an experience, then it's not wasted. It's not wasted. It's only wasted when you accept it as failure. And we don't have any failure here. We don't have any. It's against the rules. In Bob's world, that's against the rules. Now then, I'll go back to a 2-inch brush. Be sure it's clean and dry. And I want to create the illusion of mist down at the base of this. So all we do firmly with the top corner of the brush is tap. Just tap it. That's really and truly all there is to it. Then we're going to lift slightly upward. Just enough to take out the little tap marks and sort of blend everything together and make it very soft. Now, it looks like a little row of trees that lives way back here in the distance somewhere. Just happy little trees. Now, I'm going to go into crimson, blue, and black, same colors. But this time, I'm going to add much less of the white color to it. Much less. There, I want it to be quite a bit darker. And a landscape painting, as you know, as things get closer to you, they should get darker and darker in value. This is sort of a lavender color. Load both sides of the old fan brush. And let's put another row of trees. Another thing that you find when you're doing landscapes, the more planes or the more areas that you have in here, the deeper that your painting will look. That's what gives a painting depth, distance. That's what will make your painting very special. When people look at it, they'll say, oh, I can look in there and see forever. There. And that's what does it. Maybe this comes, yeah, why not? Right up in here. Something like that. And we're just looking for indications for trees. These are too far away to see a lot of detail. We'll put a little detail in them, but not much. Not much. If you get too much detail, it'll ruin that illusion of distance in your painting. And that's our good friend. We want that. All right. Now, if you want to give a few of these trees the indication of a little more detail, just do that. Take the corner of the fan brush and make it look like here and there and here. There's a big, strong tree that lives up in here. Maybe he got more sunlight and more water, and he grew big. Just wherever you think they should be. Just drop them in, like that. Shoot, I think we about have that. Maybe a couple over on this side. But that easy. We can make a pretty nice little background. Go back to our little 2-inch brush here. Tap a little on the bottom. Just enough to create that misty illusion again. Very lightly. Very lightly. Lift upward. Very lightly. Something like that. You know, for many years I was a traditional painter, and one of the things when I was a traditional painter that was extremely difficult was making reflections. And in this technique, it's one of the easiest, nicest, most effective things that happen. Watch here. Come right up in here. All you have to do is touch the canvas with a little titanium white. We have color on the canvas already, and pull it straight down. It's important that it comes straight down, though. Straight down. It'll pick up all those gorgeous transparent colors that we had underneath there. That easy. And very gently, we go across, just like that. See there? And instantly, it begins looking like water. Time to wash the old brush. If you painted with me before, you know this is really the whole thing. It's the most fun part of the entire procedure. Shake it off. And just beat the devil out of it. I thought maybe today we'd have a little snow scene. I'll show you a very easy way of making snow. Very easy way. We'll just take titanium white. We'll use that same old 2-inch brush. This is one of the simplest ways of making very nice snow. Tap it. If you've painted with me before, this is the way we make little grassy areas. But I want to make snow that looks powdery, like your, well, skiers call it powder. So sometimes snow looks like that. All you do is just tap. Just tap. Something like so. Very gently. There. See? That's all there is to it. All there is to it. All you're doing is just tapping the canvas. Then we'll go back to this very, very soft blender brush. It's very soft. Get a clean one. And gently. Just graze it just enough to bring it together. And it'll give that indication of very soft snow. Watch here, watch here, watch here. I get excited. I've probably painted 1,000,000 pictures, I think, and I still get excited with this. Maybe in our world, maybe this tree. Watch here. You can grab trees and pull them into the foreground. This easy. It's going to take that tree, bring it right on down, and we'll bring it right here so it pushes that little snowbank back. It goes back behind it now. That works so good. Maybe we'll have one over here too. I like that. I like that. And this is your world, so you can do anything that you want here. Any old thing that you want. There it goes. Have one there. Let's give him a friend. I like to make evergreen trees. They work so well, and they're a lot of fun, and they're gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Now we can go back to our old brush here that has the titanium white on it. Load a little bit, and you work in layers. See, we did the thing that was in the background first, and now we'll begin working forward, forward, forward. Always starting with the most distant object and working forward. There we go. On the other side, we'll do the same thing. We'll bring it right underneath this tree. Just right on out. Let them join together there. There. All right. But isn't that a super easy way of doing a very effective illusion, just making snow? Back to our little blender brush, very lightly. 2 hairs and some air. Very lightly, just blend that. Now while we have that white on the brush, let's go back and reinforce this reflection. I want to make it a little brighter so it jumps out at you. Just like that, and go across. just like that. Now then, let's take a little bit of the liquid white. Liquid white it's just an oil-based medium. And we use it to thin paint, we use it to cover the canvas, and we use it to make water lines. Just cut across. Can you see that? Just cut across with a knife. Then we can go right up in here, and let's just cut in a little water line. It lives right there. Right there. That's all there is to it. These water lines should be basically straight, though. By that I mean going back and forth across. Because if they're not straight, your water will look like it's going to run right out of the painting. You might have to tie a bucket on the side of it to catch the overflow. There. Maybe down in here there's a little ripple. Whatever. Whatever. It's up to you. Totally and completely. There we are. Like that. Now then. You ready to get crazy? Let's do it. Let's have some big fun. Let's take a phthalo blue and alizarin crimson and no white. It's just blue and crimson. I'm making a very deep lavender that should look black. Tap the bristles of the brush firmly into the paint. Give it a little push. And time to get crazy. This is your bravery test. Maybe we got a big tree. You know me, I like big trees. Yep, there it is. There it is. Lives right up here. And I'm using just mainly the corner of the brush. Whoops, went right over that tree. That's all right, we know he's back here. Maybe in our world, maybe there's a big bush. You're right, he lives right there. Just sort of make these things up in your mind and let them go. Wherever you want them. Maybe there's a whole little group of bushes that live here. I don't know. A little bunny rabbit has to have a place to hide. And that's a pretty good one right there. We can take our liner brush, use a little of the dark sienna. And I'm thinning the paint because one of our golden rules is a thin paint will stick to a thick paint. Thin will stick to thick. Taking this dark sienna, a little bit of white in it, just enough to dilute it a little. And here and there, we're going to just put in the indication of a few little tree trunks and sticks and twigs that live back. Not looking for a lot of detail. Not yet. We're going to put some detail in foreground, but not yet. And we'll probably cover most of those up, but a few of them's going to show through, and it'll look like you worked yourself to death up there trying to get all those. Let's go into a little white, put a little touch of phthalo blue with it. Just enough to cool it, not much. Titanium white, but push it. You can see that little ridge of paint right there. There's one just like it on your brush, and that's what we end up painting with. Push it, about a 45-degree angle. Now very lightly, using just the corner of the brush, just begin tapping in all kinds of little things in there. Okay, let me load a little more paint on the brush. Now if you have trouble making this stick, add the least little touch of liquid white or a paint thinner. The liquid white will make your color a little brighter. The paint thinner will leave it the same color. They both work very well. Make up your mind what you want to do. If you want it to be a little brighter, then add the liquid white. If you want it to stay the same color, paint thinner. But very little, no matter what, very little. The secret to this painting technique is to keep your oil paints as firm and dry as possible. That way you can continually paint over the top of it without them mixing together. You don't want to become a mud mixer. And if you've painted, we've all mixed a little mud. There we go. See? Now think about little individual bushes and stuff that live in here. I'm going to dip the brush into a little touch of the liquid white myself. Just to thin that down so it sticks easier. There we go. Think about shape and form. Don't just throw these in at random. One at a time. Do the one that you think is farthest away and work forward, forward, forward. Always working forward. There we go. One at a time. One at a time. I know you get tired of hearing that, but it works for you. And I want you to enjoy success with this. Because if you enjoy success, you'll get hooked on it. I enjoyed some success with this many years ago, and it has become my entire life, and I love it. Let's go into Van Dyke Brown and some dark sienna. We'll just mix them together. Van Dyke Brown, dark sienna, bravery test time. Maybe in our world there lives, you ready for this? There lives right here, in one stroke. Let's put a nice tree trunk. All right, let's give him a friend. You know, I think everybody should have a friend, even a tree. Even an old tree. A little titanium white. This is a birch tree, I've decided. Touch, give it a little roundward pull. Let me exaggerate that way. Got to make that little noise too. See there? Just make it look, no pressure. Let the knife just barely touch, so the paint breaks. And by breaking, I mean it leaves all those little open holes in it. There. On the other side, pull it a little bit in the other direction, like so. There, wherever you think they should be. Something like so. We can go back to the dark sienna and Van Dyke Brown mixture, add a little bit right in the middle. And when this dries, it will feel like real birch bark. It'll project off the canvas. The paint's thick, there's a lot of it. It really jumps right off there. Let's go back to our little liner brush. We get a little of that Van Dyke Brown paint thinner. The thinner's there only to thin the paint. Make it very thin. Very thin. And here and there, let's just put in the indication of a few little limbs and little things that live out here. This old tree needs some arms on him. Shoot, he's got to reach out and talk to the sky. There we go. Just a few. Just a few. That works so well. I think it's time to really get crazy. Let me put a little bush down here. I want to cover up his foots. Down here at the base of this, just want to cover his foots up. Right now they're sort of just hanging there. But we'll make them come right out of that little bush. Right there, right there. I'm going back into my brown. Big bravery test. Right there. Right there. Maybe this is a different kind of tree here. Just to break it up a little bit. Let's take some white, a little dark sienna, mix it together. Put a little Van Dyke in there too. What the heck. Take a little bit of paint, and all we're going to do is just begin touching. Just touch. Something like so. There we are. Just touch it. Touch it. That's all. Touch. And as you work around, we're going to let it get darker and darker and darker and darker. As it goes around the tree, put a little brown with your color. A little that Van Dyke Brown. See, it gets darker automatically. Once again, when this is dry, it'll actually feel like bark on a tree. All right, wipe the knife off. Back to the paint thinner. A little bit of Van Dyke Brown with paint thinner, just to thin it. And let's put an arm on this tree. Maybe it lives in our world right out in here. Boy, this would be a gorgeous place for a tree to live. Gorgeous place for a tree to live. Maybe there's another arm right here. It's up to you. You decide how many arms are on your tree, or how few. Maybe your tree died last year or sometime, and it's just about over. Make up little stories when you're painting, little stories just in your mind. And then you actually project yourself into that scene. And when you do, this becomes a reality, sort of. And, you know, painters are expected to be a little strange, so that's all right if you stand around and talk to yourself about this scene and the old guy that lived out here or whatever. That's all right if people look at you a little strange. Painters are supposed to be that way. Maybe out in here there's just a little old stick that lives. Use a little light color here. Wherever you think they should be. It's up to you. Up to you. I tell you what, maybe there's an old limb right there. Something like that. He's tired, old limb. Now you can take the knife, get that brush clean, and you can scrape through this and allow the black canvas to show through. And it'll look like little sticks and twigs that live back in here. I hope you can see those. When you do your own painting, you'll see them. They'll be there. Something about like so. All right, that's all there is to it. I think we're about ready to take the contact paper off here and see what we have. This is the moment of truth. So we just grab the paper, pull it right off, and all of a sudden you have a painting that's right there in that oval. And it comes out so gorgeous, and these paintings excite people. I know none of us are interested in those happy bucks, but if you're out selling paintings, these are different. You'll be surprised how people will come along and they'll marvel at how you did this. It's very, very nice. I think it's time to sign this old painting. With that, we'll take a little bit of the bright red. Signatures are as unique as painters. Each person will develop their own signature. So find your own signature. I've had people that sign with initials, their whole name. I've even known people who sign with a little symbol. It's up to you. But pick a signature and stick with it, because it becomes your trademark. And people 100 years from now will look at your painting and recognize exactly that it was you. All right, let's go right in here and just sign this one. I have a very short name, so it's quite easy. We'll sign it, call it done. There. And I hope you enjoyed this one. It's a very easy painting. I'd love to see some photos of your work. From all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting, and God bless, my friend.